It's a somewhat well-publicised split from Killing Joke. Who's been quietly getting together a band that he's named Brilliant. The other day, Simon Ludgate got together with Youth and also his fellow Brilliant member, Stefan, to find out the details about Youth's life after Killing Joke.
We've gone through various lineup changes and we've been haggling with record companies for deals. We've managed to get one single done, which has just been released. We're in the middle of a tour now, so actually like functioning as a band.
Can you tell me about the haggling? Because there was a bit of a problem with WA who were going to originally release a single that you had recorded.
Well, the problem with that was that the deal that we were originally negotiating was just blown out of proportion.
By who?
Well, by Warner's and certain departments in that company, and it just fell through towards the end of last month. So. It's just a shame it's taken so much time. It's not totally out of the scene. I mean, there's no grudges on this side. It's just we're not dealing with each other at the moment.
Yeah, Stefan, you were saying that there's been a problem with reproducing the sound that you managed to get on the single Push, which we'll hear in a minute, on stage.
Actually, the tour we're doing is it's a tour, but it's pretty dodgy. Like the budget is not enormous, and there's a problem about PAs, and yeah, right. I mean, it's really low budget tour, so the PAs are alright, but they're not enormous. You ain't got all the effects and things like this. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's getting better and better. Every gig is just transformation. We find new things. We're just getting onto it and working with it, so we're really happy at it.
How did you meet the others? How did you meet you?
Through a girl I was going out, and I was in London for 3 months, and Paul was the drummer was playing with us before, and he's looking for a bass player. He's doing a band with Youth. I said, alright, I can meet them and let's see if it works. And we had 2 rehearsals and we recorded Push. That was 3 months ago.
Whereabouts in France do you come from?
Paris.
Why do you end up with 2 bass players?
The best reason is because the bass guitar hasn't really been featured in bands before. Right. Only in jazz really. In some American jazz rock bands you get the bass player as the featured artist. But usually, in rock and in most bands, especially English bands, it's just been put down like by the drums to hold the rhythm down. Whereas I wanted to take it like where you could play melodies and actually carry the song. And to do that and hold down the rhythms and do other things, you need 2. You can do it in the studio. A lot of people do it in the studio. They just do 2 bass lines over the same song, and they're playing at the same time. But you can't do that live. This band's very much a live band, and it's just exploring a territory that hasn't been explored before. And just finding out what can be done with 2 bass guitars. It gets a bit difficult on the ride because the sound is so bottom heavy. You have to be careful because the drums will go ka-dum, and the bass is sort of like going flat out. You need something else to cut above that to actually make the sound like it should do, otherwise it gets drowned by the bass.
Before we play Push, can you tell us how it's selling, because it's doing quite well, I believe?
Well, yeah, we only did a small initial pressing that's sold out in 3 days.
It's been put out through an independent label, and for independent sales it's doing reasonably well so far, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's doing great. Yeah, it's doing really well. We'll do better.
So do you think WA kicking themselves there?
Well, I won't see. Won't see. WA, they're a sort of company that really don't know a lot about the music scene, whereas they're supposed to, but they don't.
Touch.
Well, yeah, what they think is good and what they think is bad, it all depends on what they're being told by someone else. They don't really have an opinion for themselves. And so, if you're dealing with someone who said, well, I've heard that this isn't what's, particularly hip at the moment, you just can't talk to them because, it's 2 different worlds.
Right. Well, that's WA and this is Push. You now are very different from the ones that were being expressed by Killing Joke. And is that one of the reasons why you left? Because they weren't doing the sort of things that you were into?
Yeah, basically. And because the only reason why they reformed was because they could make some money out of it. And that's no reason.
Is that it? As simple as that?
Basically, yeah. Otherwise they'd still be in Iceland. But they were told they could make some more money if they didn't mess around American tour.
I didn't realise they were that mercenary.
Oh yeah, I mean we're all very mercenary. That band is pretty much a mercenary band. But there was a time when there was the thing we were doing musically was more important than that, and it's not now. And also they weren't prepared to change very much, in their idea of the sound they wanted to do. And the whole idea of that band was like, initially sort of to change the direction of the band all the time.
You mentioned them going to Iceland, a bit of recap for anyone, just about 3 people in the country who don't know about this story yet, but when Killing Joke sort of came to an end as it was, when you left Jazz and then Was it Geordie and Paul went up there?
Yeah, Geordie went, Paul didn't go. He
Went out to Iceland and started working with some Icelandic band. Who was on?
Oh, that was a band called Sarah. I mean, that
Well, they were telling me before they went that they were sort of going to escape the nuclear holocaust or something, which sounded pretty wacky.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, Jazz has got various theories about, you know, the end of the world and all that. I mean, he does get a bit pretentious in the end, and of course,
We seem to take it very seriously.
well, yeah, I know, but I mean, if he actually listens, he contradicts himself a lot. It's supposed to be the end of the world by the end of this year, but they're still doing another tour next year.
Yeah. Where's that through, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that was another reason, because the priority was being put on that side of it towards the end, and not the music. I wasn't too interested in that. And also I just wanted to do something different. I mean, 3 years of doing that gets a bit over the top.
Do the ideas that you're working on now come from everyone in the band, or do you tend to take most of the responsibility for writing stuff yourself?
No, everybody has the same amount of responsibility.
Can you actually fill us out on who's in the band and who does what?
We've got this Hungarian dissident on keyboards called Peter, and got Tintin from Paris.
Well, Tintin, Stefan, I mean, Contra Stefan.
He's on the other bass, on the one bass, and Andy Anderson's on drums. Marcus, we picked up in Brighton somewhere. He does all the singing and plays a bit of guitar. So we do use guitars, but not in the conventional way.
music from Youth on Brilliant's debut 45. What an ironic title too, as we step smartly on to talk.
Rowdy stuff, right? The best way to take Bruiser Feather, right, is to drink one whole bottle of 7 Camphor, right? Whiskey will do if you haven't got 7 Camphor, right? Put it on your record player, turn it as loud as possible, right? And you'll see our point of view, definitely.